Advisors, Element Dental, and AT&T Astoria. I'm your host, Kevin Shakir, and today we have none other than Mr. Bahi from Muslims Giving Back. Assalamu alaikum, Bahi. How are you?
Walaikum salam, brother Kevin. Watch out for that cough.
Listen. Alhamdulillah. I'm okay. I'm home.
Alhamdulillah.
How you doing, Bahi? How's everything?
Good, man. We're just trying to stay busy during this time. You know, a lot of people are staying home, being safe, but a lot of people also need help. So we're trying to fill that void.
Absolutely. So listen, you're a person who's still out there. You're not listening to the government at all. You're out there every single day helping. So what's going on? What's going on out there right now?
I mean, I don't think it's not only a problem in the Muslim community, just in general. I mean, we're talking about people have been in quarantine now for almost like 3 weeks, and now they're saying this is going to be going on for like another month. And a lot of people are out of a job. A lot of people cannot file unemployment. So just imagine, like, it's not really realistic. A lot of people don't have that luxury of staying home or working from home and getting paid. So I don't know how someone with a family that was living the paycheck before this crisis had, happened, like, how are they supposed to provide for their family right now for the next month or 2 months or 3 months? It's really mind-boggling.
So, Bahi, I know you're out there. You're talking to these families every day. What are the kind of the responses you're getting from them? Like, what's the morale for them right now? What's going on?
Oh, I'll be honest with you, man. There's no good news coming here. It's very bad because, number one, besides us helping them with food and so forth, they're really worried about the financial assistance, and most of them would go to their local masajid, their local mosque, to ask the imam for zakat and so forth. Especially Ramadan is around the corner. That's a time where a lot of our mosques, a lot of our community centers and organizations give back to these families. But now, because of this quarantine and our mosques are closed, they really have nowhere to go to for help. So they're just sitting there at home and they're calling us. I'm literally getting text every day. And I'm like, listen, it's very difficult for us. We don't have that kind of money to begin with. Our mosque is closed, so we can't even ask our community, to collect zakat or sadaqah to give. I said it's just a very difficult time. So I could only imagine the stress that's going through their head. And we don't know when anything's going to open again. We don't know when everything's going to go back to normal. We don't know when our businesses are going to open, where our mosques are going to open. So for them, they're just sitting home, having faith in Allah for hopefully Allah could take care of them.
I mean, you talked about mosques being closed, Ramadan being right around the corner. Obviously, that's when the Muslims usually give their zakat mostly. They give most sadaqah and everything. What do you think is going to go? What do you think is going to happen this time around this Ramadan?
I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, I think as a Muslim community, as other mosques, I guess we have to adapt and go virtual. Right, so we're trying to do that right now, where we're collecting donations online from our community members to feed these families and the homeless and first responders and so forth. And alhamdulillah, we've been getting very good support, to be honest, from the Muslim community. But in terms of what's the future, especially for our masjids, I'm not sure. Like, again, there's really no time frame. Before, we thought this was going to be over in 2 to 4 weeks. Now they're saying a month. Now it's 2 months. Now it's all the way to August. So it's going to be a very challenging time for our community.
As a person who used to be at the mosque every single day, as we know, because you're a person who lives in the mosque, how has this quarantine, from the masjids being closed to you being used to being there every day, not being there anymore? How has been that transition for you?
It's funny, actually, because I was joking around with some of the brothers that it's technically illegal for us to open the mosque and pray, but we are opening our mosque almost every day, but not to make salah, not to pray, to give back, right, for our food pantry, for the meals and so forth. So it's just a strange feeling that sometimes it's just I'm there by myself and I'm like, man, nobody here. The only people there are just bags of food, So it's so strange that the only way that I could open up our masjid is if it's for charity and giving back. But I think, I also think this is a very good way for us to understand the true value of a masjid, the house of Allah. So maybe we need a little distance in order to create this, this feeling of love. So hopefully, inshallah, when the masjids reopen, we're going to come back in full force and get involved more in our communities.
Inshallah, of course. I mean, listen, I'm a type of person where I don't miss Jummah at all, right?
Yes.
And this is week 4 where I haven't actually gone to the mosque to pray Jummah, and I'm just it feels really, really like sad. And
It does. I'm telling you, it's strange, and and of course it's permissible because of what's going on and so forth. Absolutely, but you know what? I've also been talking to a lot of my community members. I think for us as a young generation, it's okay, it's understandable. But there are so many, like, and I remember the last time we had Jum'ah, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, where it was just mandated for everybody to close. And we said during that last khutbah that we are shutting down the mosque after this sermon. And we had old men, literally old men crying, saying, how can you do this? Because, and these brothers are like 70 years old, 75. All they do, they get up in the morning, they come to the mosque and stay there till night. That's it. They read the Quran all day. They're sipping coffee, shay. They're talking to people. For them, it's not, it's a social club. It's a spiritual temple, So for them now to tell them, hey, just stay home for the next month or 2 or 3 months, it's like suicide for them. And a lot of them were like, we don't care. We're going to break the locks and we're going to open. I mean, we had to change the locks in our masjid because, we gave the key to a lot of community members that come in the morning prayers. But we told them, listen, you cannot open up. It's like, we're going to get fined. It's very dangerous right now. Stay home. They were like, no. They're like, we're not just going to stay home. Like, what are we going to do? And like, for me to see an old man crying with tears and, just a statement that I had to say it, that we are closing our masjid, felt very uneasy, to be honest. Very uneasy.
I mean, seeing the pictures of Mecca and Medina where, the harams were always full, to seeing nobody there.
It's especially Hajj. Hajj is, it's coming soon. We don't know what's going to happen with Hajj.
I mean, listen, Ramadan is in 15, 16 days. I mean, no more Taraweeh, no more iftar at the masjids.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, the thing is that, we're going to adapt. I mean, to everybody who's listening out there, I mean, I think this is a blessing in itself as well, where, we're home. We have time to prepare for Ramadan, and, we can spend this time with our family. I mean, you commented last night that bring Ramadan into your homes, right? And the 7 nights, take over Tarawih prayers and make sure your wife and kids donate.
That's it, man. I'm gonna do a major fundraiser at my house. My 2 little babies better donate or else they're banned.
So how are your kids doing at home right now?
They're good. A little bored. I think living in New York City, a lot of families don't have the luxury of having a backyard to go outside. They're stuck in a little closet in a building, and it's like I said, it's really challenging for everybody, honestly. But I feel like this is a test for so many people. Honestly, people are being tested left and right. Those who are sick and dying, they're being tested. Those who are healthy are being tested to see what's their response regarding this. So just everybody's getting tested left and right. So I think we have to keep that in mind, that even if we are ordered to stay home, right, it's still a test. Just because we're home, it doesn't mean we cannot be productive. We cannot, get involved and help other people.
Of course, we have to help our neighbors right now because, a lot of people are in need. And obviously, what you're doing is amazing. You're still out there. You're helping the people who are in need, helping the community members. And I mean, what drives you by like I see you every day, right? And you're in full force, nonstop, right? What's your drive? What keeps you going?
I mean, alhamdulillah, we do this 100% volunteer, and that's always my motto in Muslims giving back. That this way it's political free, it's drama free. No ifs, what ifs, and this. We're just doing it all fi sabilillah, from the heart, feed people and get out. But for me personally, honestly, I just feel that every time I come across any situation where I could help, right, by any means, and then I don't, I feel like I might get, I say, tested or punished for that in the future. Because, and I put myself in their shoes, right? What if my family was in that position, right? What if I become in that position in the future where I need help, right? What should I expect my brothers, my sisters, my neighbors to respond back to me? But I feel like this is what Islam teaches us, right? Islam is very selfless, right? I mean, we're servants. That's what Muslim is. That's what Islam means, to to be submissive. And so the whole point of us being one community, being there for each other. This is really what Islam is about. It's not about, oh, me, and only my family. Like, imagine if all of us right now only care about our families, right? We're all just home. We're all sitting down, and our eyes are closed. And we only care about our families. Then what happens to those people who don't have families? All the single mothers with a young child that she doesn't have a family here to help. And it's like so many families like that. So for me, it's, again, if I see that it's feasible for me to help, I'll do as much as I can, because all Allah tells us to do is act. Just act and try your best. That's it. We're not going to defeat poverty. We're not going to defeat hunger. We're nobody. We're just a little tiny little groups and a little tiny community. But we all have to just try, because it is up in the hands of Allah to do the change, right? But at least me personally, when I die and I face my Creator, and at least I could have some excuse that, Ya Allah, I tried my best, right? This is what I did. This is how much I could have done. And Allah knows best. Some people have flexible time. They could go out there every day and, feed. Others absolutely have no time whatsoever. But this is why I always say, just do something, anything, and I think I shared that before in the past, that, even your neighbors, like, subhanAllah, with technology, Kevin, it's so easy. There's Uber Eats, right? We could just order a surprise meal for our neighbor. If there's an elderly couple or a sick family in our neighborhood, it could be anonymous. You could literally just order from Uber Eats, a nice halal restaurant, whatever. They'll drop off the food. They won't even know where it's coming from. So I feel like, it's really, we don't really have any excuse not to get involved. But for me, like I said, it's a huge passion for me, because I believe Allah always pays us back in a good way. So if we give, Allah gives back. And of course, I want Allah to give me. So by the only way Allah's going to give me, I have to give in this earth.
Habibi, for our viewers who don't know who you are, right, and obviously what Muslims giving back is, right? Obviously, we had discussion. I know who you are, what we discussed, right? But does Muslims giving back only serve Muslims, or do they serve everybody?
No, absolutely not. Well, we serve anybody in need. Any creation of Allah has a responsibility on us, right? Human beings, even animals, right? So absolutely not. We are Muslims that are given back to all of humanity, no matter what. Whoever needs help, that's what Allah says. Whoever needs help, help. Allah never said help only Muslims and forget about everybody else. Absolutely not.
Habibi, and where if, like, let's say somebody needs help, right? And obviously they're watching right now, right? What areas do you serve, and what communities do you serve? And if somebody wanted to reach out to get help, how can they reach you guys?
No, I mean, yeah, excellent question. I mean, for us, the best way, I guess, to reach out is really through our Facebook page, which is like, I guess you can see there, Muslims Giving Back at Facebook. And we've got a lot of messages from a lot of families. And, we're located in Brooklyn, but we were just today in Queens doing a delivery. We did deliveries in Staten Island, in Brooklyn. And mashallah, we're teaming up with other beautiful organizations out there that are doing amazing work, where they're feeding in Long Island, they're feeding in Queens and in the Bronx. So there is like a network of people. Like if me personally or our volunteers cannot get to the Bronx, alhamdulillah, we know people there who could reach out to and be like, hey, listen, we'll send you the funds, we'll send you the donations. Can you send? So everybody's kind of working together.
And obviously, you guys are doing this every day. How many volunteers do you guys have, or is it just you?
No, alhamdulillah, no, we have a couple of brothers, alhamdulillah. Like I said, the volunteer is becoming very tricky to find people, but this is why we try to provide masks, gloves, and so forth, just to protect.
Trying to cut you off.
Yeah.
You're saying that it's becoming tricky, right? Obviously, because of what's happening, right? If we have anybody who's watching right now, right, and they want to become a volunteer, what's the best way they can reach out to you?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, Facebook group. They could send us a message. If they could, honestly, like me and one of the brothers that he's been coming like with me a lot, almost every day. I was like, yo, we really need more volunteers, because we're leaving like 9 in the morning, coming back like 9 p.m. like every day, and it's tough to like go all the way across New York City. Today we went all the way to New Jersey to do deliveries there. So the demand is getting high, the funds are very low, and the manpower is even smaller.
Trust me, I know,
Um,
man.
yeah, so it's tough. But of course, if there's any brothers and sisters out there, they want to get involved in a safe way. And alhamdulillah, we have different ways. Like people could, deliver groceries to Muslim families in need. We feed the homeless every Friday and Saturday night. We have a weekly food pantry in our masjid every Friday. We deliver to like hospitals, fire stations, police precincts. So anyone could choose whatever they're comfortable with anywhere that's near them. So, but definitely right now is the time to get involved. And I'll tell you this is why I always tell people, I'm like, people always remember you, Kevin. People always remember you when you're there during the hard times, not the easy times, right? And there is no more difficult time has been in New York City for
Ever,
like
ever,
19
ever,
years. Yeah, right?
ever.
This is the time. This is the time where Muslim communities, either the masjids, the masjids are closed. Yes, your masjid physically is closed, but we could still open up and provide social services, right? But this is the time that I think it's going to make or break our Muslim community. This is the time to make us stand out, where people are going to say, wow, look at these Muslims going around giving back. And they're never going to forget that. You do, wallahi, if you deliver a pizza pie or a slice of pizza to your neighbor just once, that person is never going to forget that gesture, because he or she's going to think, oh, remember during the coronavirus, during that time, it was very difficult, but wow, remember that person who came out of nowhere and, gave me a plate of food or something? That's like a memory that you take with you, that you tell your, your children when they grow up. So I feel like this is the time where we really need to get involved as much as possible.
And that's what our religion teaches us, to help our neighbors, to help people, because at the end of the day, that's what our duty is. We're supposed to help everybody and anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now you were talking about going to fire stations and hospitals, right? Obviously, I follow MGB on Facebook, so I see you guys ended up in hospitals giving food to the care workers. Where did the idea come from, and what was the response?
Well, the idea is really that they're being overwhelmed. Like I know a lot of brothers and sisters that work in the health, care field, and it's tough for them to take an hour break and go outside to order food or catch a break. They're just on call, right? It's a very difficult time for them. So, so I was like, man, what's the best way of helping them? Is imagine we bring them food where they don't have to go outside, they don't have to leave their role as a nurse or a doctor or anything. They could grab a little, bite, so forth, and get back to business, get back to helping and saving lives. But I'll be honest with you, Kevin, the response, wallahi, I swear to God, it's been amazing. And I'm talking about, we're just us, a little tiny organization doing as much as we can. And I'm like, wow, imagine if all Muslims, go out there. But the response from all of them, from hospitals to the paramedics, the EMS stations we're doing, to the police precincts, just smiles and gratitude, saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And we were just talking about like what, 20, 30, 40, 50 meals, right? Now, nothing crazy. It's not like we're going there with ventilators and medical equipment, just food. But they are so grateful for that. And I'm telling you, this like these little gestures really penetrate their heart and the minds, and it leaves them a nice, beautiful image about who we are, what Islam is really about.
Wallahi Bahi, you're a wonderful human being. On behalf of American Islamic Radio, we thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you as an American. We thank you as a Muslim. We thank you as much as possible, because you're on the front lines. You're not in the healthcare field, but you're helping the healthcare field. You're helping You're helping people with groceries. You're helping people with food. Bahi, on behalf of American Islamic Radio, we want to say a huge thank you to you, and alhamdulillah for somebody like you.
No, it's a community effort. Wallah, it's a community effort, and if we did not have beautiful brothers and sisters like yourself in our community to support, to spread the awareness, it's never a one-man job. Never.
And we appreciate you, Bahi. Wallahi, we appreciate you.
Appreciate it, brother.
So you guys have been tuning into American Islamic Radio. I'm your host, Kevin Shakil. We had a beautiful conversation with Mr. Muhammad Bahi from Muslims Giving Back. Please make sure you share this with everybody, so anybody who can watch this can definitely reach out to Bahi to support, to volunteer. Make sure you guys tune in next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Bahi, thank you so much, Habibi.
Wa alaikum salam. Take care, bro.